Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I don't know why, but it felt like a lot happened, and I know I'm going to forget about like 1 to 3 things. So I just want to put that out now. But I want to start off with the Sunny and Dex and the whole sniper and everything like that. Pretty much they're pinned down, and one of Sunny's other guys comes in to kind of help them out, but they don't know where the sniper's at or they don't really have a direction. So Dex is like, listen, you need to sit there and leave. I'll cover you, whatever. I got you. Don't worry about it. Sonny is like, are you sure? And Dex is like, no, this is what I do. So Dex is able to sit there and get Sonny out by drawing his fire and stuff, by drawing the sniper's fire, and Sonny leaves. They're going back and forth. Eventually, Dex gets hit. Gets hit, and things aren't really looking too good. He's pretty much pinned down at this point. Like Frank or whatever got him out, but eventually Sonny does come back, saves him, takes out the sniper, and tomorrow's episode they're probably gonna sit there and try to question him. But it was nice that Sonny did come back. Now there's a lot of theories that's floating around. There's probably a couple of theories that's floating around. I heard some in the live stream maybe a couple of days ago that Sonny was the one that ordered this hit, to sit there and test Dex. But given by the previews and everything like that, I don't feel like that's the case. This may be either Pikeman or somebody outside of Pikeman's group. My theory that I had was that Dex was the one that set up this hit to sit there and try to prove his loyalty to Sonny. I'm not really feeling so confident about that theory, but I just kind of threw my hat into the ring. Either way, it seems like we're going to get more info tomorrow. Dex just got shot in the arm, but it was more like a graze than anything else. While that's going on, you got Josh sitting there talking to Carly about how Dex is going to get out the mob. He's going to figure a way out and stuff like that. And Carly's like, here's the thing. And this is, as I'm sitting there talking about this, here's the thing. Carly, at one point, they had this conversation, and Carly was like, well, how's that going to happen? And today she was like, do I even want to know how he's going to get out the mob? Now I'm looking at this whole thing, and I'm like, Carly, I feel like you're asking the wrong questions. Carly said that there's only a few ways that you can get out the mob, and one of them is in the body bag. But another way of getting out the mob is that they're turning against your boss. Turning stateside, whatever you want to sit there and call it. And I'm surprised that she's not more curious and really be more concerned about how Dex is going to get out the mob from Sonny. Because it's not like it's just some sort of rival family, whatever. And she's kind of just like, oh, okay, well, they really want to. It's like, no, it's Sonny. How do you think that she, what I'm saying? Like, she should really be a lot more concerned about how he's going to sit there and get out. Because, like, what is he going to do? Put a bullet in Sonny's head? Turn him into the feds? Like, these are questions that should really be going in her head. And she's been with Sonny for a very long time. I don't know why, but it's just like hit me like a bolt of lightning. Like, why should I be more concerned about that? But of course, Bobby comes in to sit there and talk about the nurse's ball because, it's a tradition and it's important and yada, 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 yada. I know this year the nurse's ball is supposed to be more of a metaphor, somewhat of a metaphor also about General Hospital turning 60 years, which is a milestone, okay? It's nothing to definitely take lightly. I could sit there and complain about this show. I could sit there and talk about how bad some of the episodes are, and some of them's good, and some of them bad, but long story short, it's been on for 60-something years, okay? It's outlast a lot of soap operas from across the different channels. 4, 2, I'm assuming they have more than 1, 2, and 4. And even on 7. So, as much as I sit there and run my mouth and a lot of other commentators run their mouth about GH and it's lacking and everything like that, and I will continue to do that, it's a milestone. So, it's definitely something to be proud of. Now, Bobby Smith, they're talking about musical events. And not just, not just nurses and stuff like that, but outside people, like Cam. And Josh is like, well, he's probably not going to want to sit there and join because, he's been through a lot. And then she talks about how they broke up. Yeah, we broke up. I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. So we're going to sit there and tell the sanitized version of it, right? Right, Josh? We're going to talk about the sanitized version. Y'all two breaking up because, you grew apart. The whole revenge thing. We're going to talk about that stuff, right? And don't get me wrong, that is a large part of it. But don't sit there and act like that's the reason. Don't sit there and act like that's just the reason why he may not be up for, singing and stuff like that. Because there's a lot more to it. Of course, I know she can't say it, but it's like, no, we all know the reason why he's not going to be up to it. Okay, don't sit there and try to tell this sanitized version of like we don't really already know. And of course, they talk about Luke and Luke's death, and I'm just, one instance, I just kind of roll my eyes like, yeah, Luke's death, lost screen. Sure. Here's the thing. Either he's not dead, which I feel like is the most likely scenario. He may not come on. They may do a lot of this stuff off screen, which would be disappointing, but, will be what it is. Disappointing. Or they actually killed them off, and, well, in that case, shame on them. Shame on GH. Luke is a legendary character. Okay? You can ask people on the streets, even if they never watched the soap opera, you know who Luke and Laura are. You know who Luke and Laura are. It's just common knowledge at this point. So to sit there and do him like that, I mean, granted, his exit was trash. Okay, the way they did that little story for him and everything like that, it just like I felt like they gave Dante a more passionate exit role than they gave Luke. They gave Nathan a much more passionate exit than they gave Luke. So yeah, they've been kind of doing him dirty for a while. But enough with that. Now things. Oh, I don't know where Liz is getting this false confidence from. But this is after Victor went to go see the doctor about his performance issues, right? Performance issues. And he runs into Liz, and Liz is all like, "Oh yeah, I pretty much told the police and everything like that what your involvement was, and I told I told Nicholas and stuff like that. Like she just pretty much like, yeah, I was pretty much just ratting people out. Yeah, and I mentioned you too, as far as your cover up and stuff like that. So then she started acting really all like cocky and everything, talking about, oh well, she was sitting there trying to well, she was like naming quotes and stuff like that. She had her arms folded, and I'm just like, you do realize who this guy is, right? Now I know that we didn't really make fun of him, but it was very tough to take him seriously, right? More of just his demeanor than anything else. Well, let's not sit there and try to act like he didn't get stuff done. Like he didn't sit there and kidnap Drew. He didn't sit there and mind control Drew and stuff like that. Like he was getting some stuff done. Um, him trying to kill Anna and stuff like that. Like let's not sit there and take this guy lightly. So the fact that her arms are crossed over, crossed up and everything like that, she's sitting there talking like, yeah, I did it. And you know what? I think that we can conclude our business and start trying to walk away. I was like, you do realize who he is, right? So Victor grabs Liz by the arm. Carly sees that, and Carly automatically is like, "Yeah, I'm not feeling this." So she comes over there and she's like, "Yo, listen, don't put your hands on a woman like that. Like, what's wrong with you?" And pretty much kind of told him to kick rocks. And Liz is all like, "Oh well, I didn't need your help. I had the situation under control." I'm like the whole time I'm just baffled by her. I'm just like, are you like? What are you on? And then they have a little bit of a somewhat heart to heart talk, and Carly drops some knowledge on her as far as Nicholas and loyalty and stuff like that. And be careful who you give your loyalty to. And it seemed like Liz, for the most part, was kind of hesitant, like, oh, like, I don't want to be jaded, this, that, and third. I'm like, it's not what she's saying. She's like, y'all two had issues because, well, of Carly, let's be honest. But she dropped some facts on you. You might want to sit there and just kind of just open up your ears and just kind of listen. Um, Also gave her back the picture, and, he talks and stuff like that. So it's funny because, Carly was like, oh, we'll never be friends. We'll never like each other. And I'm just like, at this point, why? I get the stuff that y'all did in the past. Well, by y'all, I mean Carly. Um, I think Liz did something bad. At the time, hiding Drew when she knew that Drew was Jason at one point, but maybe some other stuff too. I can't remember. But the point is, I think a large majority of it had a lot to do with Carly. But she was like, "Oh well, I know we're not friends, we don't like each other, but I'm here for you." I'm like, I don't understand why y'all still don't like each other for it. I mean, if Liz is able to put that stuff aside what Carly did, I don't see why they can't just be friends at this point. Like Carly says, like Carly said or whatever, they got a lot in common when it comes towards protecting the kids. I think that's probably the only thing that they actually have in common, but whatever. Um, so Mac picks up the DNA test, but he doesn't actually open it up, and he's looking at Cody like, "Oh, what is this?" And Cody just snatches it out of his hand, and practically is in no certain way, pretty much kind of telling him to kick rocks, like, "Hey, listen, I think we're kind of going that second or third beer. I got a lot of work to do and stuff like that. So, yeah, you can just kind of see yourself out." And Dante came in there and was like, "Oh yeah, I have plans for him." So Mac leaves, and Cody tells Dante that Mac is his father. He also tells him to keep, this conversation, to the grave or whatever. And at this point, I don't understand. I mean, he did kick kind of an outburst when he was talking about Mac as far as him not believing that he can actually have somebody good like that in his life. But I'm just like, bro, the ice princess, as far as you know, is gone. So there's no real reason to keep this as a secret. I don't understand that. Let me know in the comment section, what is this actual reason at this point to keeping it secret? I really want to try to understand that because I don't get it at this point. Um, Kevin and Laura just kind of chilling or whatever, and Felicia comes over there and she starts talking about how is he doing and stuff like that, and what are you guys doing? And I don't know, maybe it was just me, but if I had a long day and I was my girl, or whatever. And I mean, granted, I guess they're kind of all friends, but this person's kind of standing over us, like, "Hey, so what's going on? Like, what are you doing? Are y'all just kind of staying in, or like, what's going on?" I'm just gonna be like, "Sis, either grab a chair or just like go somewhere." I can't imagine actually having somebody just like stand over me like that. But Cody did give Max some advice, and Felicia was in there talking to Kevin about Ryan and everything like that. And he got emotional and stuff because he's very conflicted. He understands. Well, he doesn't. Let me say it in a different because I feel like I'm jumbling my words a little bit. He's grieving for Ryan, but he understands that Ryan was a very evil, evil, evil person and hurt a lot of people that he loved. He doesn't want to grieve for him, but what it really comes down to, I don't remember who said it. He's not grieving for Ryan. He's practically grieving for the person he could have been. Um, because Ryan, you're gonna have to watch this episode because I can't exactly say what their mother did to Ryan, but it was wow. I mean, granted, that does not give him carte blanche to sit there and do the stuff that he did, but you know, they once said that Joker was a normal person and was, I feel like this is going somewhere, but I just can't link it. But my point is like, you know what? Listen, Joker was a good person at one point, surprisingly, for life happened. So just saying. Matt comes over and they have their heart to heart talk about um, Ryan. You know, Mac. You know, from a college point of view, he was in the right. He did the right thing. He did what was necessary, right? But Kevin is his best friend that I didn't know about, and so he feels bad for killing his brother. Talked about it. They worked it out. They cried and stuff like that, and I came to terms with it and just kind of forgave each other. Um, but it wasn't even really something to forgive. I mean, it was more like I feel like I'm not explaining this right, and it's something that you definitely got to sit there and watch. But they just kind of came to terms with it. It's like Kevin was not upset with Mac, and Mac was blaming himself, and Kevin was like, "You don't have to do it. Like you did what you had to do." But I think the part that really, I guess, resonated with me with what they're seeing is the crying part. The thing is, that's more. I have a whole like poem. I just don't feel like getting it. Okay, the thing that really resonated with me was the fact that they were emotional, they were crying and stuff like that. Like in society, we have this whole thing where it's like men aren't allowed to really cry. They're not really allowed to sit there and share emotion. Um, and it's something that just always bothered me. So it was actually really nice to sit there and see that because you know it's like we always have this stigma where it's like we always have to be alphas 24/7. And so I guess that part, it was just nice to see. Let's just put it that way. Um, Drew is there asking Laura about getting Charlotte shares, and Laura's was like, "No, I can't do that." And it made sense. Listen, um, well, actually, tell you the truth, I don't know exactly why. Well, no, actually, no, I take that back. Talking about buying the shares from him, and Laura's like, "I can't do that because." Eventually Charlotte may want to, grow up or whatever, and she might want to be in a family business and have, a say in how the company is run. So she's like, yo, listen, I can't do that. And that's just that. But now let's talk about the whole Nina and Ava scene. And, Ava being like, all right, so what are you going to sit there and do? You're going to talk to the FCC or not? And Nina gives a bunch of different reasons of why she's not going to do it. As far as Carly being a support system for Willow, regardless of their issues, the fact that she's there for her daughter, giving her comfort and stuff like that, I don't really feel like it's right. And Michael as well. Um, it would affect Michael because of Carly and stuff like that. So she's like, I don't really feel comfortable doing that. And Ava, for some odd reason, which now I don't really understand, is really egging her on to do it. And what's so baffling about this scene is that Ava's like, listen, I wouldn't feel as happy Carly going to jail, given that we have somewhat of a truth with Avery and stuff like that. But you can do it. And you know what? I even sat there and gave you the number, and I'm just like, wait, what? Like, why are you just pushing her so hard to sit there and tell the FCC, have her tell the FCC about Carly? I didn't get it. And of course, Drew came in there, and Drew was sitting there nice to her as far as, I know you're sitting there worried about Willow, and you want to take care of her. Just make sure you take care of yourself, yourself or whatever. And he kind of bonded with her a little bit over Oscar. So after that, Nina was like, well, I definitely can't do it now. Now, I have a feeling that goodwill that Drew just put in is going to go down the toilet um, when she sees Carly. Because, if you saw the previews, it really looked like she's about to get into it again with Carly. But again, I just feel like if she does do that, it's only going to be a detriment to herself in the long run. Because Willow's going to be upset. You're going to lose your shot with Willow. You're going to lose your shot as far as being with Wiley, all for revenge of Carly. You know, like that's something that Nell would sit there and do. Nell was just, well, she was very one dimensional and just very, well, she was a nut job. Okay, um, but I like to sit there and think that Nina is a little bit more smarter than that. A little bit more smarter than that. Not much, but just a little bit more smarter than that. So I guess time will tell. Oh, and finally, when the doctor came back, to tell Victor like what was going on, he was like, you know what, listen, I got to sit there and get Finn on this one because you got some sort of pathogen in your blood system. So I'm like, wow, that's scary. Pathogen, giving this dude performance issues in the bed. That's that's scary. Okay, for me as a male, that's scary. I feel like that's about it. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else to happen. But with these episodes, they just start throwing so many people into an episode. I'm just like, I'm bound to forget like one, two, or four different things. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.